We are nearly out of our misery, guys. There is only one more round to go. And for some people, they are counting down the days. Some people are not getting any sleep. And some people are counting down the seconds for a whole different reason. Let's talk about round 23. Let's go!
Just done it from nowhere. Busted the goal from inside the circle. Sheeeezeeee from the boundary. Dusty.
G'day and welcome again to the Ball Boys AFL Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Casey, and you can find me on Twitter at Ball Boys Fantasy. And I am joined by the last time of the season for a normal round review. We will have one more podcast next week, but I'm joined by Luke Rogerson. How are you, mate?
I'm good. We've done it.
We've done it. We've made it.
We've all but done it. The last round is upon us.
Yes. It's been a long road.
It has been a long road.
We got here with a few laughs, a few tears.
Yeah, plenty of tears.
Lots of tears.
Plenty of tears. There'll be happy tears next week.
Absolutely.
Because there is nothing quite like the end of a poor fantasy season to get you excited for next season. Because the minute it ticks over, you start thinking, well, maybe next year I'm not a Muppet. Maybe next year is my year.
Yeah, it's a fresh, clean slate after this year. But there are a lot of people who are still stressing out there, Luke.
Yeah.
A lot of people still stressing about their grand finals coming up potentially. Some very stressed people, trying to get hats, potentially cars even. There's a lot going on.
Well, I have been made aware that I actually am a grand finalist in one league. It probably...
Wow. I am not. I'm not in any... Actually, hold on.
I think that
I might be in the Timbercats grand final. Actually, yes, I am. And our good friend Tim are going up against each other.
There's going to be some trash talk this week from Tim. But yes, I am in a grand final, so there is something little to play for there. I'm going to hang on to it.
There you go. So, yeah, lots to get through today, and there is lots to talk about on the weekend. We've got some massive performances to discuss. But first and foremost, let's talk about our rounds and our scores and how we went. What did you do? How did you score? Where are you at, Luke?
I don't know where a 22-3-9 kind of leaves me. What do you have? I wasn't sort of too far behind some good teams, but yeah, it still got me out in the 8,000 club.
Just cruising out there.
Just cruising.
We floated the idea, I think we were watching one of the games today. We said in the last round, we should introduce the idea where wherever you're ranked in the last round, however many thousand ranks you've got, you get that many trades.
So I would have 8 trades.
So you get 8 trades being at the 1,000 club. Anyone's at 2,000, you got 2 trades. If you're top 1,000, you get 0 trades. You're stuck. And I reckon that's a fantastic idea.
I think had I had the C on Sheeezeeee this week and 8 trades going into the last round, I'd be sizing myself up for a hat, baby.
There you go. Just a bit of fun, I reckon. I reckon that'd be pretty cool. I scored not too much further from yourself, but 22.81. But it was enough, Luke. It was enough to finally, for the first time in 2025, I've cracked the top 1,000.
Nice, man.
Just.
Nice.
I'm at 993. And it's been a battle this year, but I will be happy if I can just stay there.
Yeah.
Okay, I need one more good round where I just hold my spot. And top 1,000 after a bit of a disastrous early portion of the year, I'll be pretty content and happy with that from the boys in the second half of the year especially.
All jokes aside, if you're around those areas, there's so many people that play fantasy now and really good coaches that are clued in.
Thank you.
So if you're anywhere around that club, you're doing good, I think.
Yeah, I reckon if you're the top 8,158, you're pretty nice. Anyone outside of that is garbage. Let's talk about some performances on the weekend that weren't us. And award some Camels first off.
It's just weird when we both do it, mate. Just stay in your lane.
Oh, I thought I'd finally get around it for once, but no, okay, I won't do it again.
Let's get humpy. This guy it's hard to put a hump on him because he's a string bean, but Sam Darcy
I'm very disappointed in this man.
I think that this had a little bit to do with some young competition that came into the Bulldogs side. Just took a little bit of shine off Dust.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just thought you're going up against the West Coast Eagles. They won by, how many points did they end up winning by in the end? It was a lot. It's
close to 100.
It was 100 points, essentially. I just thought he would score better than the 60 points, which is his second worst score of the year outside of his injured score, which we obviously won't count. Second worst score of the season against West Coast. That, to me, is just as quenched as it gets. 10 disposals. I don't believe he even played any ruck time. I want to say he had one hit out for the entire game and saw a lot more. What's the fella in the back line who got moved in there? Anyway,
no idea who you're talking about, mate.
He's going to come to me. He's got the lobster hair. Rory Lobb, yeah. He was in the ruck this game as well. So just very quenched behaviour. Didn't want to be around the footy. Was content just to go and tick the legs over. I thought he was on for a good score because he kicked 2 goals in the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes or so. And then, just kicked his feet up. And that is not what we want, Luke.
No, but on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? A sorbet in yellow and porous is he.
I had a different name down here, but I see you've changed this.
Yeah.
Talk to me why. Adam Yeezy.
Adam Yeezy.
Adam Yeezy.
Adam Yeezy. Adam Yeezy.
Why is he getting the sponge when
he will forever be, when you look at the record books and you see that Harry Sheeezeeee had 54 touches that equaled the record, there will be just a little asterisk that says Uze decided not to tag when the guy had 28 touches at half time.
Unbelievable. Like, he nearly went to double. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like he just got 40 in the half and then you clamp him to 14.
No one can convince me that Adam Uze didn't have the C on Harry Sheeezeeee this week.
He did. He so did.
You cannot convince me otherwise.
And he gave Morris Rell a scolding, I reckon, after the game for giving that tackle, so he didn't get 55. I think, look, anytime you have a world record performance, it obviously deserves a special shout out. I'm kicking myself that I didn't, have him one spot higher in the big boys because I did go English ahead of him. But he, absolutely enormous.
Yeah, impressive.
Biggest score of the season. I dare say it won't be topped next week. But if you had the captaincy on him, then that is just an enormous round for you.
For sure. Let's recap the rest of the round, eh?
And the winner of the Norm Smith medal.
You're an embarrassment to what you do, mate. You're an embarrassment.
I think that's... I was going to say Thursday night's game, but it was actually one of the doubleheader on Friday.
Yeah, we didn't have a Thursday night's game.
No, and I think this one actually screwed coaches this week because the Essendon St Kilda game, there were so many good VC options here that meant a lot of people rolled into captaincy choices that, bless you, that weren't red hot. The bog in this one was a VC option that actually did go well.
Yeah, I think, and that's why he gets the best on ground here. I could have given it to one of those random defenders for Essendon, but Rowan Marshall got the 121. I had him as my VC, and I took that. And whilst my 2 other options that I would have gone to actually would have made me more points, I think just knowing that Wang went poorly, Dawson, another guy who I was pretty big on, he went poorly as well. Just a few other options that fell over in the end. I think it was nice to have that locked away after the first round. And so Roma, he gets the bog in this one.
Speaking of falling over, and I actually feel really sorry for this guy. Jack McRae was obviously on the outside looking in at the Bulldogs. He got bevoed. But I think that either Ross is catching up for coffees with Bevo or Ross has just seen whatever it was that Bevo saw, because this guy managed to play less time on ground than Sardell Hooley, and like significantly less time on ground. Sardell Hooley came on, I believe it was like late in the second quarter.
It is crazy. Yeah.
I may be wrong there, but he did not start the game and he easily eclipsed Jack McRae's 55% time on ground.
55% is absolutely ludicrous. He only only had more time on ground than the 2 players that got subbed out and the sub for St Kilda. So he was basically the lowest TOG player in the entire ground that actually played the full game. And even, like you said, lower than Sardell Hooley. What the fuck's happened?
Bro, it's under 12s. It's the kid in the headgear cutting the oranges. Like, he's not even close to 50. Don't bother showing up, Jack.
No,
55% tog.
It's stupid. Like we got tricked into this 101. I mean, we kind of saw it with the tog in the last few games, but we thought we could do something similar in Essendon because it's a similar type matchup. And by the way, the flog goes to St Kilda in this game too because they sucked. They got lucky to win this game. Just a shit game of footy.
They let Essendon possess it, and it wasn't good for scoring.
It was back to the old St Kilda. Let's just let them chip it around in the back line.
Yep.
My boy Jaden Laverde, he was on for a massive score. So massive that I tweeted out the fact that he was the obvious trade-in target, and literally 1 minute later, he got injured. So that was one of that was one of my more regretful Moz's.
I didn't know you tweeted that.
Yeah, we were joking about it, and I thought that's good gear. I'll tweet that out. And then literally
stealing my gear and putting it on Twitter.
No, I said it. And yeah, just copped an injury, and he's the most fantasy irrelevant player of all time. I feel so bad, but yeah, just don't know my own strength sometimes with those Mozzes.
Well, I mean, we mentioned the doubleheader, so let's talk Freo on Brisbane.
Yep.
This is annoying because obviously Essendon and St Kilda are the more fantasy relevant game, but I wouldn't have minded watching Freo Brisbane, but the AFL don't really care for their fans, I wouldn't have thought.
No.
The bog goes to a guy that you were hot on early in the week, Dane Zorko. You cooled on him and it cost you 40 points.
It did, yeah. I should have just gone with my gut here because 12 marks in this game, 27 touches. Ironically, we'll get maybe to the other game earlier. We were worried about him getting potentially tagged. Didn't obviously occur. And Brisbane just dominated this one here. So he obviously benefited in that respect. The flog in this one goes to a guy that I was skeptical on for a long time. Finally conceded last week, especially in the trade target articles that we write for our Patreon members, saying that this guy was one of the few must-have forwards because he just gets it done. He's a great player. He's got a great matchup in round 24. But Luke Jackson sucked. Absolutely sucked. There was no Big O once again. So it was purely Darcy Fort that just took him to town and just 9 hit-outs. Just not good enough.
The CBAs, in the last 2 weeks, the CBAs have just been ever so slightly down and more in favour of Darcy.
Yeah.
But like you said, Freo just got shown.
They got absolutely destroyed. So 56 from him. The positive thing is he's very highly owned up top there, so might not have hurt you too much, but if you did what I recommended and traded him in, if you didn't have him, that you missed an opportunity to make up ground for a non-owner. So that's flog worthy. Gold Coast versus GWS. I've got a dual award here. One for Finn Callahan, who has been a great trade-in target if you managed to get him in the last few weeks. Going 122 again. I think that's the second consecutive 120-plus game in a row. And Noah Anderson is also going to get this one because I was worried about him coming into this game, but pushing a 118 out with 32 touches, 6 marks and 5 tackles. That's a nice, well-rounded game for him, which we don't always say in a tough matchup. I was very happy to have that on my field.
This is something we'll talk about next week when we kind of do our yearly wrap-up, but we talk ourselves into so many fucking corners. Is there a tag? Is there not a tag? Is there going to be a tag? Is the tag going to be effective? Is it just... And I don't know. Sometimes it feels like a flip of a coin, but that's a discussion for another time.
And obviously that's why we preach those 23rd premiums. But let's move on to Carlton versus Port Adelaide. Oh, sorry,
I got to drive over my man Matt Rowell.
Sorry, we got the flog.
I knew at some point that I would ruin Matt Rowell. It just took me a couple of weeks, but he did have his first score under 100 for about 12 weeks.
Which is very disappointing, especially if you trade him in recently. Like you're paying, I think was he the most expensive midfielder in the game?
Oh, mate, I paid up. I love to pay for that.
Yeah, so you pay up for that.
Price.
He kicked a goal. I believe he was getting a bit of attention in this one. Maybe not a hard take, but definitely they had some game plans for him and two marks, 4 tackles. The 4 tackles is probably the most disappointing thing. He had 25 touches, works hard as he always does, but 4 tackles is not a row. Like Carlton, Port Adelaide. Not the most fantasy relevant game, but the best on ground. I'm going to give it to a little unique here in George Hewitt, who got 110, 35 touches, if you don't mind. A lot of people traded him out a few weeks ago, and some people traded him back in, and I think he's been a bit high ups and downs, but on this weekend he was up.
Yeah.
On the flip side,
Connor Rozee just decided he didn't care for the footy on the weekend.
He sucked,
Don't worry about it. He
one mark, 1 tackle?
Yeah, and he even had higher CBAs this week, so there's no excuse for no tackles either when you got, I think, was it 21 CBAs?
18, yeah.
18.
But that's,
It's
third
enough to
highest
get a
as
tackle.
midfielder.
It's enough to get a fucking tackle, Connor. So sort yourself out, mate.
He's played too much half back this year. He's forgotten how to.
Yeah, get a bit soft on us, Connor.
Not good. Not good. Hawthorn versus Melbourne. A couple of big scores in this one. I could have given it to Max Gorn, but honestly, the Rucks all kind of cancelled each other out. I'm going to give it to Dylan Moore, who is just a fucking gun. 32 touches, 9 marks, kicked 2 goals, 123. If you had that in your forward line as a unique player, that is absolutely massive. And he's a guy that we were a little bit nervous a few weeks ago, but 91 last week, 123. He's had a 99 and 143 in there his last 5. So he's actually been cooking this back half of the season. A little low score one in there, but he's more than made up for it with a couple of big ones. So, yeah, good unique to close the year out. And he's just good. He is just good.
This poor guy is just going to be tired of us running him over just every week. But Christian Petrarca, he keeps deserving it. He keeps just putting up mediocre scores. I think it was, did he crack 80 this week?
He got 85, so it's his best one. I tried everything I could with this guy, Luke. I tried to send out a rocket after quarter time. He responded for a quarter with a 37-point second quarter, and then just went back to absolute mediocrity, 16-16 in the final 4. So rockets don't even work. So I don't know, man. This guy is cooked.
Darcy Cameron dominated in the Adelaide Collingwood
Didn't
game.
like my gear there?
We'll gloss over it. I mean, yeah. No,
Christian Petrarca.
it was
Anyway,
good. Yeah.
keep going.
Sorry. Darcy Cameron was himself cooking in the Adelaide Collingwood game. Big score. I know everyone was really had to trade him out a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, the other Rucks are doing the same thing.
He's held his own. And there wasn't, honestly, not too much fantasy goodness in this one here. No. So maybe someone still had a Darcy Cameron in there. Definitely you were worried with a lot of good matchups with the Rucks, but he got in there as well. The flog in this one, Josh Dacos. Now, once you can forgive, Luke.
Yeah.
Twice, very much a harder thing to forgive. 2 60s in a row, basically his 2 worst scores of the season back to back, when I need him the most.
It makes it really tough to forgive. Like you said, I think the one thing that says you don't trade him this week is that it's been 2 difficult matchups. He goes into Melbourne this week. I think that he's going to turn it around, but it makes it tough because he was coming in flying to those 2 games, and then, like you said, he shit the bed. So
yeah, where's this Josh Dacos that was getting CBAs and getting record number of clearances? No CBAs on the weekend. And the Pies lost.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Sneezes tonight. But yeah, very disappointing and slight unique there. So that one fucking hurts. Let's go to North Melbourne versus Richmond. And I have to think that this is a world first. Not only did Harry Sheeezeeee get a world record, 54 touches, but there were 3 players that scored 160 plus in the one game. I'm going to go on a limb, and I don't think that's ever happened before. That is absolutely incredible. Between LDU and Sheeezeeee, they had 94 touches.
Yeah.
Think about that. The average number of disposals for an AFL team is 355. I looked it up today. So they've nearly had a third of that between 2 players. That's fucked.
It's impressive. And
then Sheeezeeee whacks in 18, Sherry whacks in 18 tackles to just go along with it.
I'd like to know if anyone's had a 160 and only had 3 kicks before.
That's crazy.
So
these are some wild stats.
It felt like there was records being broken left, right, and centre. And
you reckon Sheeezeeee could have gone bigger?
Yeah, I mean, there was a set shot that either didn't make the distance or he kicked down to the full, and then there was
2 behind.
A little snap where he just about hit the post. So you kicked both those goals, and suddenly you're looking pretty close to a 200.
Yeah, so massive. So LDU, Tristan Sherry, and Sheeezeeee can all share the bog on this one, and Richmond can probably get in amongst it too, just for being the dream matchup. We absolutely packed up shop in this game here. Did not give a fuck. The flog is the one player who, no matter how good the matchup is, just can't get involved, and that's Caleb Daniel. 73 points.
Yeah. he's so
Any
rough.
chance on getting around?
I don't think I've ever seen a player that receives so many kicks that aren't paid as marks. Not 15, tackled, holding the ball.
2 marks,
tackled,
officially.
Out of bounds. Like, I don't know what he's doing, hey. He just he didn't get in on the feast, unfortunately.
No, did not. Sydney versus Geelong. Sean Manor.
If you had the crystal ball 5 weeks ago and you traded in Sean Manor as
been a fucking great
forward
pick.
pod, he's been massive. He had the enormous ceiling score to kind of start this run, but he hasn't really dropped too far below 90.
Last 5 average, 109.
Yeah, I wrote that in my article this
Holy
week.
shit.
It's impressive. It's very impressive. And guess who he plays this week?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
You've got my attention, Mr. Manor.
3 goals, 7 marks, 7 tackles. That's enormous.
Yeah.
He obviously, he had that 144. So this is his 4th ton of the year, but he's just doing it at the right time. So he gets the bog in this one.
Yeah. Isaac Heaney was the flog. He actually started like a house on fire, and I think it was it some O'Connor attention I think that he got.
They definitely switched some things around because early it was Errol getting the...
I think Errol was getting the ocean and the motion.
Yeah, he was getting drowned. But freed up a little bit in that 3rd quarter, and then Heaney really slowed down. So all in all, Heaney, who we kind of talked about a little bit as a potential pod target, really let you down, hurt you a lot. Yeah, 9 points in the 4th quarter was really the one that, and 5 in the 2nd. So those 2 quarters combining for 14.
Yeah.
Yeesh, not very good.
Yep. Rounding out the weekend with West Coast and the Doggies, Timmy English, he just keeps getting it done. He's been a great pick this year. Hats off to you, Mitch, for that take. And Sammy Darcy, we already drove over him. So
Tim English officially averaging 110 now.
Yeah. Super impressive, mate.
Very, very
You can claim that
nice. Let's talk strategy. And it's a bit of a funny one to talk about because we've got 1 week. So it's daily fantasy now, essentially. For 1 round, what do we do? Is it a different game plan? I mean, obviously it is a different game plan. You don't have to worry about long term. You don't have to worry about roll or anything like that. Or you just go for matchup.
Yes.
You go for best player on the 1 day sample size.
Yep.
What are we thinking about for round 24?
Well, let me try and throw some scenarios at you because I think as much as it's the old cliche, it is team dependent and position dependent. So let me give you a scenario. Let's say you are in the top 100, but you're in that sort of like 70 to 100 bracket where there is a chance that maybe you could get run down. What does playing defensive look like to secure yourself a hat? We'll talk that as a scenario first.
Playing defensive means trading in the players that are highly owned that you don't have that you think can hurt you. You think have the chance to go big against the player that you have in that position. Playing defensive is not trading in someone who's highly owned who has a terrible matchup or someone who has the potential to help you. So if you think that you have someone who is better than that player as unique, you're not just trading them in just to equalize for the sake of it. But if you don't have a fucking Bailey Smith, for example,
against Richmond,
you absolutely need to get him in if you want to hold your spot. I don't know if that is anyone at the moment. I think he might be 100% owned. But if you are playing to defend your spot, whether that's your matchup, against your grand final opponent, or if you're in the top 100, top 10, fucking going for the car, you need to be creating as few uniques as possible to make it less likely for people to overtake you.
So let's just talk some names specifically. Who are those players that we think have a great matchup this week that are somewhat highly owned that can hurt? Names that I'm thinking of, I mean, you mentioned Bailey Smith. He's close to 100% owned. But I'm also thinking...
He's actually 98%. There's 2 coaches in the top 100 that don't have Bailey Smith.
Get him in.
You 2 people out there,
please
fucking get Bailey Smith
please. Jeremy Cameron would be somewhat highly owned now, I would imagine, and going into...
So he is 61% owned.
That's high enough to scare me with a Richmond game.
It is. Now, last week it fucking helped you.
Yes.
But this week, I think it could be a little bit different. Although, do you think the 100-goal dream, is that over?
I think
did he kick any on the weekend? I don't think he kicked any, right?
No, he didn't. I think
so. He's on 79 goals with 1 game left, and then however many finals they have.
Yeah, I think it's probably done. I think he needed a bigger performance 2 weeks ago, and then he needed 4 or 5 this week.
So he is. I heard this out on the weekend. He is one of the. I think there's like 4 or 5 Geelong players that's played every single game this year.
Does he get a rest? That
is a little concerning to me. So I don't know if I'd categorize him. It is scary. Because of like the matchup, and the matchup is the big thing. I'm not sure I quite categorize him there compared to some of these other guys. So I want to run through some players. So, I mean, Dawson is 100% owned, the top 100.
Yep.
Bont is there as well. There's one player that doesn't have Harry Sheeezeeee in this matchup as well. So obviously Adelaide have North. Bailey Smith, 2%. Max Holmes, he is 96% owned.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be going against him.
What about, let me throw a little curvy one at you. St Kilda gave up monster scores to Essendon defenders last week. Lockie Ash.
Lockie Whitfield.
Well, Lockie Whitfield's 99% owned, I think.
so
But
one coach.
Lockie Ash is like 60 odd.
Yeah.
Even though he's been shit recently, is that scary enough with what St Kilda gave up last week?
I do think he's someone I'd like to trade in if I had the luxury, because we have seen glimpses the last 2 rounds. It wasn't even just last round, but even the last 2 rounds, like we did see, I mean, Richmond's probably not the best example, but we have seen glimpses of the St Kilda of old coming back. Like this was the game that Caleb Daniel had his 115, McKercher had a 119, Sheeeezeeee 117. They've been just giving up a lot of marks recently.
Yep.
And obviously you saw the Essendon guys go big last week. It's classic St Kilda. It feels like it has been more recently. So yeah, I agree. I think Ash is a good shout for someone that I probably wouldn't want to go against.
Okay, so that's kind of the category. You're defending your hat. You're defending that top 100 position.
Brian Myers,
Yeah.
he's
against
another
Richmond.
one.
Yeah, potentially.
Not maybe the ceiling, but he's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think you could put him down for a ton.
Errol's an interesting one. West Coast, still less than 50% owned. There's a chance that sneaks up because, and this is a good segue into you're outside the top 100.
Yeah.
You're now chasing. So you're looking at a guy like Errol this week and going, okay, well, Errol's at the moment 40% owned.
Yeah.
Is trading him in for a potential ceiling score? You've got your fingers crossed. Is that the kind of strategy that you're looking to do?
Yeah, 100%. You've got to be looking at these guys who are lowly owned that have high ceiling potential with good matchups. And you can take risky approaches. Like this is, I've always been hesitant with like key position players because I do feel like, and we just saw it with Sam Darcy, the more sample size you have, the more likelihood they're going to come back to earth and just even it out. But on any one day, these guys can go massive with big bags of goals. So your Sam Darcy's, your Jeremy Camerons, those sort of type players. Like was it Harry Mackay had a massive score on the weekend? Like you could look at these types of players and just go, yep, take a swing on them. Or you could look at your half backs and those guys that can really get off the chain in those really good matchups. So who do you reckon? Like, and the key matchup here is Richmond, right?
Yep.
So if we skip ahead to some of the Geelong players, someone like Sean Manor, is he someone that we need to be considering as a forward option? I'm trying to find his ownership here. He is owned by... Oh, geez, it's
pretty low.
Pretty low. Sean Manor, I'm going to have to type him up. He's owned by 0% of the top 100. 4% of the top 1,000. He is a prime example of if you want to take a swing. He's shown massive ceiling. He's got a great matchup. Do we take a punt there? I think he's a prime example.
I think if you're looking at yourself and thinking, I would need to do something completely out of the box to get myself a hat from here, or to get yourself into the top 1,000, or whatever your goal is, that's something I'd definitely consider because I don't think that there's definitely going to be no coaches that are defending position that are going to go there, I wouldn't have thought.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
He's going to stay unique, and I think it's a good chance. Last kind of just scenario that I want to put us in is league matchups, grand finals potentially for people this week. How are we playing the difference between do I match my opposition? Do I go different? How would you kind of step through that if you were in that position?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard because sometimes you look at it on paper, you go, I think I'm ahead here, and fucking shit can change so quickly. I think if you're just focused on your matchup, unless there's like a very obvious matchup or player that you don't have and your opponent does, or you want to get an advantage early in the round, I do think it's worthwhile maybe holding a trade or two up your sleeve throughout the weekend because you're going to get a couple of things. You're going to get some more clarity on whether you truly are ahead or not, and you do need to do things like, go for a unique captain or go for a unique VC or block the captaincy and try and predict where they're going to put their captains because you are ahead and you just want to make sure that they just don't have a chance to do any more unique sort of stuff. So if you can delay that decision-making process for as long as possible, keep an eye on what they're doing, that's definitely something you can have a look at. And I don't know if there's any sort of real massive, like the Thursday night game, Essendon and Carlton. We're not worried about anyone there. The Friday night game, I don't think you're really trading in anyone there. Maybe you're trading out of a Josh Dacos, potentially.
Yeah. Are we entertaining a VC on Nick Dacos? Or is there better
We
matchup?
might be.
Yeah.
I haven't quite looked at the big boys just yet. Potentially.
Okay.
I think there might be better options, to be fair. And then the other Friday night game, Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast, I don't know if you're doing much there either. So you've at least got like a few games where you're just going to be sitting and waiting, and maybe you might have a couple of uniques in that time, and then you'll have a better idea. It is really the Adelaide, North, and then the Geelong, Richmond games where things will really start to... You're going to have to start to think about making some moves.
I actually think that the Port Adelaide Gold Coast game could be interesting for matchups this round as well, because if you have a look at some of the relevant names in there, Butters, Rosie, your Andersons, your Rows, these are guys that are kind of owned... Not highly owned, but they're not completely lowly owned.
Yeah, like I know Anderson, he's a bit...
These guys, I think, could be difference makers in matchups this week.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
And so it could be interesting to see maybe your opponent.
Connor Rosie, 49%. Butters is 30...
Bless you.
35%.
Pull yourself towards yourself, mate.
I don't know.
But could be some potential pods in your matchups.
Yeah, that definitely could be. But yeah, I just think delaying that decision until you have a better idea, unless it's like if you don't have Bailey Smith, like you're just doing that 10 times out of 10. If you don't have Jordan Dawson, you're just pulling that move. I think you've got to get these guys in, because that's either a way that you're going to get hurt with your opponent having them, or if they don't have them as well, you're going to get a big advantage, I think, by getting those kinds of players in.
All right, last little bit of strategy that I want to talk with you is how we're using our loops. So if you're a coach that's fortunate enough to have some red dots, how are you using those red dots?
So this is I don't know if the AFL is purposely trying to fuck us fantasy players, but the amount of overlapping games on Fridays and Saturdays in these last couple of rounds that make it harder really gives me the shits. So last week it was, at least what I was doing, I was trying to have a look at Zach Butters and I was trying to have a look at Noah Anderson. They were 45 minutes apart. So I got 1 quarter out of Noah Anderson to make a call. Thankfully, I made the right call. But this week it's the Friday night matchup where you've got Collingwood, Melbourne, Port Adelaide and Gold Coast. So you're going to, if you have like a Butters, a Rosie, a Noah Anderson, and you're worried about tags or whatever, or just pure shitness, you have to make a call on those sort of guys. So the other thing is on the Friday, if you've got maybe an extra defender, I don't know if that's where a lot of people have loops, but maybe you are able to loop a
McCarthy,
with a McCarthy, or put a Josh Dacos on your bench and have McCarthy as a backup later in the round, because Josh Dacos puts out a 60. Okay, I'm putting McCarthy on, or maybe I decide I put Josh Dacos on the bench, he gets a 60. Maybe I need to trade in a defender. Yeah, maybe that's when I go, okay, no, I'm going to go after Ash. You put him on the bench, he goes 100. All right, I don't need a Lockie Ash. I don't need a Lockie Whitfield. I can do that. So I think those are some of the important things we've got to be thinking about. Some other maybe ones you might be considering, like if you've still got a Caleb Daniel kicking around on your side, putting him on the bench for your forward line against Adelaide. I don't think we've got many forwards playing before then. If you had the right loops, could you have a look at Tom McCarthy in your midfield before going into like a Tom Green or who else has been going poorly? Andy Brayshaw. On the Sunday, you could definitely do that. Tom Green, Andy Brayshaw, good shouts. Jack Steele, if he's again getting around your side still. Yep. I do think like if you still got a McCarthy in there, he's a prime ticket to a guy that you can get as a 23rd premium. It's not that hard to get him to someone who's decent. I honestly think it was a fucking downgrade to go from him to LDU last week. Oh, easily a downgrade, that one. So he is a guy there, but I also would also look at trading him out to someone maybe better than him and doing the same thing just with a better player. Yep. Okay. But yeah, really, really staying on top of that sort of thing. I think, those Friday night ones are interesting, but you can still keep looking at it later into the round, like you said, with like Jack McRae. Ooh. If you're not trading him out, I know he plays on the Sunday, but if you have a late playing red dot, you might be able to do something like that with him, or loop someone before him, so hopefully they score good enough and you don't have to play him and you put him on your bench or something like that. So just being really across that, but just keeping in mind that Friday night there is those overlapping games. The rest of the weekend is pretty solid outside of the Sunday. Actually, even that's pretty good. Honestly, there's no overlaps because that Hawthorn-Brisbane game is quite late. Do we have like a public holiday or something? Why is that Brisbane game so late? Gabba, 7:20 Sunday. Do we have a public holiday coming up? Not that I know of.
No.
Why the fuck's that so late up here in Brisbane? We're all asleep by then.
We might just declare it, mate.
Yeah.
Give us the keys to the city.
What's going on? Anyway, but yeah, so I saw that Friday night, no overlaps, but yeah, just be mindful of that with your loopholes and captains as well. Despite having red dots, you might not have the red dots where you want them, Luke.
I mean, some may call it unprepared. I just call it back in the wang. Because after we finished the live show on Friday, I was all ready to VC my boy the Wang. And I just thought, I'll just work out who I'm going to loop. I'm all green dots, baby.
All green dots.
I'm all green dots.
The only red dots you have were Essendon and St Kilda players.
Yeah, and so, I thought nothing better in round 23 than just putting all your tickets on the Wang.
On Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or Friday night it was, yeah.
See you on the Friday night, and I was left holding my Wang in my hand, actually.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, plan ahead. Make sure you got a loop to use with your captaincy. If you haven't already, I mean, trading in red dots at this point of the season is definitely A-okay with me.
Okay, we would normally go to chopping block. Do you want to just kind of set this up as general chit-chat? Who are the prime targets to go out and who are we trading them to?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with Jack McRae. He is a guy that he has to go.
The good teams don't own him, mate.
Yeah. Do you not have him?
Could never get on him because my team sucked.
I feel like I made a call maybe like right before he started going shit that he was going to be like the top 2 forward for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I definitely said that.
Was that you that said that?
You might have stolen my take.
Maybe, but it was probably right at this spot where he was coming off a 123 maybe, and then 79% tog, and then just plummeted 63, 71, 66, 65, 55. I reckon Ross Lyon heard that take and went, you know what? Fuck you.
He might have got cozy with Ross's misses or something. I don't know.
Something's changed.
No,
I don't know.
What has happened
but
for Jack?
He has to go, in my opinion. He is
the matchup's
doing nothing for you.
Not great this week
Absolutely
either.
nothing for you. So even if it means you can't loop, like he almost just is that much of a liability right now. Playing 55% time on ground for an 846k player, get rid of him.
It's a wonder that he hasn't yet been the sub.
Yeah, and could come this weekend.
Yeah.
So I think he's a guy that you're looking to trade out. Outside of him, I don't know if there's any like must-trade players. I think outside of that, you're sort of maybe playing that loop game as best you can, trying to gather some more information. Would you look at someone like a Josh Dacos in this sort of week?
Let's just stick with Jack McRae for a second.
Okay.
If you're trading Jack McRae out and you're looking for the highest upside play,
Yeah.
is it Jack McRae to Jeremy Cameron? Or is it Jack McRae to Sean Manor? Or
Well, so I think you are looking at an Essendon player. I mean, sorry,
Geelong
player.
Yep.
I think where you're sitting determines who that is. If you're right up the top there, Brian Myers is the safest pick. He's the safest bet. Well, okay, back up. If you don't have Belly Smith, it's Belly Smith, no matter where you are. The next thing is Brian Myers. If you're highly owned, you don't have him. I think you're going to want him. I think he's the surefire thing to give you 100 plus this week. I think I'd go Sean Manor ahead of Jeremy Cameron.
If you were shooting.
Yeah. I think either.
Ooh.
I mean, if I'm like on the edge, maybe I'm like 110. It's a little bit more nerve-wracking because... But even
the
then,
difference between 110 and 150, who cares?
Yeah, what's the difference?
So
I just feel like Jeremy Cameron is like, okay, there was this big whole thing about his 100 goals.
Yeah.
We saw on the weekend, he's a key forward. He even, there was 12 points I saw, I think, in the second quarter where he ran back to like the defensive 50, got a +6, ran to the game, got another +6. There's 12 of his 50 points. He got really 38 points as a forward.
Yeah, playing better opposition. But you're right. I mean, they still beat Sydney by quite a bit on the weekend.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if he's going to have to extend himself.
And I think you're right. The logic behind it too is Manor is currently 0% owned in that top 100 as well. So you pick Jeremy Cameron, even if he goes big, there's still a host of teams that are going to be moving with you.
You'll be riding with them. Yeah.
You're hoping for Cameron to just be underwhelming and Manor to be good.
Yeah. So I almost think Sean Manor over Jeremy Cameron. But honestly, you could try to get both. You could try and go for both. And the thing is with Manor, he is actually expensive. He's not 130k.
Yeah.
Jeremy Cameron's cheaper. He is 876. So it's 100. It's 90k, 85k from McRae to Manor. Jeremy Cameron's pretty sideways. He swapped from most other forwards. If you're going that way, but
yeah,
you want to capitalise on those Geelong guys, I think, because Richmond. We're counting down the days till the season's over.
I reckon Bailey Smith's had a look at Harry Sheeezeeee on the week and go, 60, 70, 70 maybe. He might be wilt. He might be holding up the hunch.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Could we see back-to-back records?
Hey, he could. We'll see. We'll see what
Are there some other juicy matchup? You talked about the St Kilda guys. How would you prioritise them as a trade-in option? It's
more about the GWS halfbacks than the St Kilda guys, but just given what Essendon did to St Kilda last week. So it hasn't been so much this year, but definitely last year, I recall it was like St Kilda, defenders against St Kilda. So
matchup,
I don't know whether it just kind of came on the weekend or whether we're going to see that again, but I don't think that Lockie Ash has this big upside more so than the Geelong guys against Richmond.
So you'd probably prioritise the Geelong players if you were going for a bit of a bit of a higher upside guy trying to claw back. I mean, Lockie Ash is still owned by 65%, so it's not as big as some other players, but it's still a decent chunk of ownership.
You're looking on a different line too. So if your problem player is in the back line and Lockie Ash is one of your options, you could go there. But Holmes again is, I suspect Holmes will actually go bigger than Ash this week.
Yeah,
so
I think so too.
You may as well be on the right side of that.
What about as a defender option? I talked about him last week. Okay. I didn't pull the trigger. Dane Zorko. What about Dane Zorko coming off 120? He is still only 7% owned.
Hawthorn
versus Hawthorn. Where is that game actually? Oh, it's in Brisbane. We just said it's the fucking late game.
Tell me what he scored against Hawthorn last time around.
Probably pretty good, I reckon. 125.
Oh, 127.
Oh, pretty good. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's a pretty. I reckon that's a pretty unique play too.
Yeah.
If you're looking at a defender and you wanted to maybe go Josh Dacos to someone, or even like I was suggesting last week, which I should have fucking done, a midfielder to him via one of those other midfielders coming into one of those other defenders coming into midfield.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I can reveal who it was now, but I wonder if Holmesy, who slid into my DMs, did that move, because he messaged me saying, I like the trade.
I was messaging him today. He didn't end up pulling the trigger on Zork.
I wish he did.
You know who he went to?
Who?
Connor Rosie.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Still fifth.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, what could have been? What could have been?
Well.
Yeah, so I think out of all the defenders, I don't know if the defense is where we're making a lot of difference in our teams. But if I was to pick one outside of those guys that are already highly owned, I think it's Dane Zorko still.
Yeah.
Bailey Dale went big on the weekend too, didn't he?
He did.
What did he have?
Bailey Dale will not go big in this matchup this week. This game meant nothing. Whereas
this game means everything.
Everything.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Pencil that in. We'll watch that together on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be the game of the round. And then there's a weird Hawthorn.
Yeah.
I think a game afterwards. Midfielders.
Yeah, so we talked about, obviously, Jack McRae going out in the forward line. Who is copping the chop?
Who's copping the chop?
Andy Brayshaw, bro. Stop defending that man.
Yeah, fuck.
Stop defending that man.
Surely
he steps up and start defending that man. He hasn't stepped up for 10 weeks. I am not disputing your love for him. You have all the reason to love this guy.
Why does he suck? Why did he go 22 touches? 22, 23, 23, 32.
We didn't see it.
21, 29, 24, 25. Okay. Where are these disposals going?
Look, here's the thing. We didn't see it on the weekend. Freo sucked. But Freo in that stretch that you just mentioned have actually been playing good football. And the thing is, this is not always the case, but I would argue that the best teams are not always the teams that have just all these massive scores every week.
Yes.
Like, okay, Adelaide's sitting on top of the ladder. Jordan Dawson's a gun. Like, I get that. Geelong's up there. But I just don't know whether the way that he was getting all his touches, I don't think it coincides with Freo playing good footy.
I see a world in this week where he comes out and lays like 11 tackles and kicks a goal and has 32 touches, and he's just trying to will his team over the line.
You told me that last week and the week before. Okay,
all right, you can trade him. You can trade him. He's a highly owned player, and if you are trying to get a leg up, he's highly owned, hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
He's got a tough matchup this week. So, yeah, you can fucking trade him. If you are trying to make a home run play.
Yeah, you're on the outside.
Yeah, you're on the outside. You can trade him. You can get him to someone like a Zorko or I'm going to suggest an Errol Gould in this situation. I know he hasn't been that great, but the West Coast Eagles matchup, I think, is right up his alley. You could go to someone... Hell, you could go to a fucking Sean Manor and put an extra forward in your midfield or something like that just for this 1 week. Because that could be a high upside swing.
Yeah.
But... I don't know. I don't know. It's just something feels wrong about trading out Andrew Brayshaw.
Okay, well, give me another name, another underperforming mid.
Another underperforming midfielder.
If you traded in Isaac Heaney last week, are you dumping him straight away?
No, he's got West Coast. He's got West Coast. I don't think you can trade him out. What about Connor Rosie? I know he's not a midfielder, but he might be sitting in some midfields.
Yeah.
Is he someone you look to trade out after his dud score?
It was so bad. I know there was something going on, rumours about his personal life or something that he was dealing with last week. So let's give him a pass for the poor performance on the weekend.
And what's Hinkley's last game, right? Does that mean anything?
That's where I was kind of going, and I'm thinking, like, surely he's been his coach since, I would say, since day dot. I'm talking about last year, but
yeah, I think so.
It'd be pretty close to it. Surely he and Butters get up for this one. They're taking on the Gold Cunts. Good for midfielders.
You can't keep doing that, mate. This
It wasn't. I didn't start it, mate.
No, you're so fair. If they can do it on TV, we could do it on a podcast. Yeah, I think he's definitely someone you could move. I don't think he's going to hurt you on the way out. I'm more worried that Brayshaw hurts you on the way out than I am with Rosie, especially if he's playing in the midfield.
Especially if Rosie's playing in the midfield?
Yeah. I liked him better off halfback.
But you didn't pick him at the start of the year off halfback.
Yeah, but he was cheap at the start of the year. And he wasn't putting up 60s in the preseason.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if the midfield is where you're going to make... I mean, you could. Like, are there any big tags? I mean, Sydney's versus West Coast. Like, that's not...
Don't worry about it.
That's nothing. There's not really too many other tags going on right now.
Geelong have been tagging. That doesn't matter this week.
Yeah, Richmond, so that doesn't matter. Lord, he was out injured.
Yeah, Ollie Wines.
And they're versus Essendon anyway, so that doesn't matter. So there's not too many tags in the final round. It doesn't appear so.
Fingers crossed.
I'm not sure the midfield's where that lever is.
He's not, no.
No, he
plays for Melbourne, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does play Melbourne in defence, if I'm not mistaken.
Great segue. Are there any places that we can get a leg up in defence?
Well, I think it's the Rosie Josh Dacos situation and the Zorko situation.
Josh Dacos? Would you move Josh Dacos before you move Rosie?
I think I'd move Rosie first.
Josh Dacos, the 2 weeks have been so far from the trend.
Yeah, it really has.
Melbourne this week. Who did Melbourne take on last week, and did they give up points?
I feel like they did. Hawthorn.
Two defenders, but not so much. I mean, Impey 116, probably bouncing off halfback. Aim on 94. Yeah. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah. Where is that game being held as well?
But I think it's enough. It's enough to hold him. Surely he is going to do 95 plus.
Surely, I don't know. Yeah, I just for some reason feel better about him than I do Rosie, especially with we know that there has been an injury for Rosie.
Yeah.
I don't know, a bit more to play for Josh Dacos too with Collingwood's slide. But I think it's more just about the loop game in the midfield, looping those players that have maybe been underperforming with another underperforming player. Maybe someone like Tom Green has just been meh. You could look to trade him out, but again, I don't know if it's massive upside. Neither in the rucks either. Like I think whatever rucks you have right now, you just stick with them. Like they all performed well on the weekend. I think they've all got decent matchups. I think English has got maybe the hardest. Max has not a hard matchup, but not an easy matchup. Sherry's the one that maybe we missed last week, but he's got a tougher matchup this week against Adelaide, although they did give up a big ruck score last week. Adelaide
I
did.
was just thinking that.
But I don't know if you're changing. I think, again, the rucks, you're probably happy with what you got.
Unless you're running Kieran Briggs.
No one's running Kieran Briggs. I refuse to believe.
You're running Luke Jackson from when Grundy went down.
Yes. No,
In
you
which
don't want
case,
that.
you're
You
ditching
want him
that.
in your
That
midfield.
might actually be some teams.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I'm just trying to see. No one's got Kieran Briggs. Yeah, good. No one has Kieran Briggs. You're another player. Yeah, I mean, Tristan Sherry, 7% owned as a maybe unique. He obviously went at 160, but I don't see that happening again, personally. So then it leaves us the forward line. So I think the forward line is where most of the moves are going to happen this week.
Well,
honestly.
I thought we've done this skew-if because we started talking Jack McRae.
We started McRae, but
You've cocked me up here.
McRae, Petrarca,
Yep.
Darcy,
Daniel.
I think this is where you're going to get the most swing.
This is where I need my 8 trades.
This is where you'd spend 4 of your 8 trades.
8.
8 of your 8 on the 6 players on field. So I think this is where you're going to get the most difference in players in the forward line. So let's look at some guys that could potentially go off this week. So we talked about the players from Geelong.
Yep.
I do think despite him having a very poor score, Luke Jackson could be really good in this round versus Tim English and obviously just the game that it is. What about...
He's just playing... Yeah. He's not the number 1 rock.
No. What about Dylan Moore, who has been killing it? Obviously, we talked about him earlier. 104 average in his last
I don't
5.
see him doing that against the Lions, but...
You're probably right. Who did they play last week? It was Melbourne. That was a pretty easy matchup.
He's also not loopable. His last game of the round.
Yeah. So, are there any other sort of like funky options that we could be looking at here? Someone like a Harry Mackay against Essendon, 122, kicked 7 goals last week. Is he?
Yeah. No,
Essendon?
I think these are guys that we would entertain if it wasn't for the Geelong matchup against Richmond. It seems to me like there's enough relevant forwards at Geelong, and not only are they relevant without having the Richmond matchup, they now have the Richmond matchup.
What if you have like a few Geelongs already in your team? What if you're already sitting there?
So if you have
you got
Smith,
Jeremy Cameron, you
Manor,
got
and
Smith.
Myers.
Maybe you trade in Manor and then you got another trade like you've got up your sleeve.
Okay.
Could you go another Geelong player and go the fish, Shannon Neal?
The fish. Sorry, Shannon.
I don't think we've ever referred to him as the fish on this show because we don't talk about him because he's not fantasy relevant. But this man dead set looks like a fish.
I would never say that. I have never said that, so I don't know what you're talking about, Shannon. You look like Patrick Voss, mate. So you just pull your head in, mate.
Could he go nuts as the second option when all eyes are going to be on Jeremy Cameron?
I don't think he'll
Shannon
go.
Neal.
I don't think he'll go nuts. It's more of a squirrel thing to do.
Wow. Travis Boak? No.
Well, the Geelong options.
Yeah.
You're not.
It's hard to go past them, isn't it? There's not really anyone else that I'm... What about a Riley Thilthorpe versus North?
Look at us endorsing all these Geelong players. We hate Geelong players.
Yeah, we do.
One of these will come back to bite us. Chris Scott will rest players this week, and he'll rest them about 30 seconds before the first bounce.
Okay, so in terms of those players that you're trading out to get those Geelong boys in...
Yeah.
Rank them in this order. Oh, sorry. I'll give you the order and you tell me if you disagree. McRae first on the list to go. Well, actually, first on the list to go is Isaac Rankin if you have him because he's out, right?
Is it confirmed?
I think it's confirmed.
It's good. It makes sense that I would finish the year with forced trades.
Do you have him still?
Yeah, of course
nice.
I do. My team sucks.
Tried him ages ago. What about as a side, a trade in? Getting your boy Jack Martin back in.
Oh.
Geelong matchup. Geelong's got the Richmond matchup. He went all right on the weekend, I think, too. Ever since you traded him
he
out.
actually did. Maybe 80 odd.
Anyway, so McRae, so Rankin if he's out, McRae next. I think that's pretty obvious. Caleb Daniel, if you still floating around in your team, I think is pretty high up there. What about Sam Darcy? Is he next?
Well, I don't think there's any putting the feet up this week. You said that when you were watching the game.
No, but it's like...
It's Well,
are Freo going to be able to?
yeah, I don't think we should just automatically equate big game with hard matchup. That's not exactly the case.
No,
but
I mean he kind of steps up, doesn't he?
I think there's a chance. I would hold him before I'd hold Daniel, before I'd hold Rankin, before I'd hold
Petrarca. Petrarca can go.
Petrarca.
He's got no ceiling.
I would
does
hold
he?
Darcy, and like this is a big game, but this kid's a big game player. And aside from the weekend where you said he put his feet up, does the young fella? And this is very disrespectful that I don't know his name off the top of my head, but does he get another game?
Oh, was it a debutant?
Croft.
What
Did I get it right?
I think it's Croft from memory. I'm just going to double check
The
that.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Croft. Yeah, Croft.
Hey,
Jordan Croft.
he raided all of fucking Darcy's points on the weekend.
He kicked 2 goals. So,
Those 2 goals for Darcy.
yeah, it's an extra,
18
24
points?
points? Something like that.
Yeah, if he marks them. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get it as easy. So, yeah, I think I agree. If you're going to trade out, I think you're trading out Petrarca before Darcy.
Yep.
But trading out Darcy could work well, like because he at the end of the day he's a key position player. It's not a gimme matchup. But I think those are the guys you consider. I think you're holding Bailey Smith, you're holding Kennedy, you're holding Chad Warner with the West Coast matchup. You're holding. You'd want Luke Jackson in there. Brian Myers is in there. So they're the nice sort of 5, and then you're taking punts on your Jeremy Camerons, your Sean Manners. If you've got a Dylan Moore in there, he can be a backup option. Those are sort of the players you want in your forward line. And I think, if you've got McRae, Petrarca, Darcy, Daniel, Rankin, those sort of players, I think they're a high priority to trade out this week because I think there could be sort of anywhere between like 20 to 60 points difference.
Yeah.
And if you have a couple of those, well, there's potentially 100 points that you can catch up on a lot of people.
Massive.
With some low ownership options there. So
Beautiful.
that'll do us, I reckon.
Beautiful. Before we go, if there is anyone still listening, we will drop a link to a survey in the description as well. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, we just want everyone's feedback on the content this season, more specifically about our Patreon. And if you are a member, then you'll have one sort of questionnaire to fill out. If you are not a member, you'll have a different set of questions. It's probably only a couple. You only have just basically... Why weren't you a member? And
how can we get you to be a member?
And what do you want to see from a Patreon if you wanted to maybe be interested in that next year? So just getting a bit of information out there from the community. So go and check that one out. It will be in the description there. Shouldn't take too long of your time. And we will be doing our last live show this Friday. And then more than likely we'll be doing one wrap-up Mad Monday show next week to just... go through the highs and lows of the season, give out a few awards, and as we like to do, just while it's fresh in our mind, some learnings. I already know my learning is just never go camping during the season. Put your life on pause while fantasy is on.
We'll get Starlink next year.
Starlink.
Let's get Starlink.
Our boy Elon just comes to the rescue.
There you go.
Here we go.
Easy as.
So yeah, that will be coming out, guys, and there will still be a couple of Patreon episodes for those people who are signed up there. But until then, good luck with your trades, and hopefully those in competition, you can get some good night's rest and make some calm, cool, collected decisions on the weekend. But we'll see you guys on Friday night to go live. See you then. Bye.